Hi, this is Pastor Greg, coming to you maybe not live, but alive with hope and anticipation of all the opportunities we have to be God's people in the world. This week's opportunity has us still shouting from the rooftops that Christ indeed is risen. And our gospel verse this week comes to us from the 24th chapter of Luke, where we're reminded again of the reality, the actual life of Jesus Christ coming back for each one of us. You know, it seems to me that it's not enough for us to say the tomb is empty. It's not enough for us to proclaim that Christ is risen. It's not enough for us just to believe in the resurrection. At some point, we have to move from the event of the resurrection to experiencing the resurrection. And experiencing resurrected life begins with recognizing that Christ is risen among us. So Jesus shows up after he's risen from the dead, shows up out of nowhere. Peace be with you is the first thing he says. They see him. They hear his voice, but they don't recognize him right away. They thought they were seeing a ghost, we read in this gospel. They know Jesus had died, was buried, and they know that dead people don't come back to life. This can only be a ghost, a spirit without body. The tomb is empty, but their minds are closed. With Jesus' resurrection, however, God shatters human categories of who God is, where God's life and energy are to be found, and how God works in the world. For us, dear friends, us humans, resurrected life can never be fully comprehended, contained, or controlled by our human thoughts or understanding. But that new reality begins with touching, seeing flesh and bones, hands and feet. And it says in this gospel, Jesus eating broiled fish. He ate the resurrected Jesus, the living bodily Jesus lives and eats broiled fish. And he says, touch me. A ghost, he says, does not have flesh and bones as you see that I have. He shows them his hands and his feet, and he eats some broiled fish among them. Something very normal. Something that those of us who are living need to do, eat. So yes, friends, the resurrection of Jesus is real for you and for me and for all of us who follow this risen Christ. The resurrected Christ reveals that all creation and every one of us are filled with God, holiness, and divinity. That only comes to us through Jesus. Nothing can bind or supersede that grace that is given to us through resurrection. Unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, unconditional life. So often that is one of the most difficult things for us to see and believe and live into. But it is, friends, for each one of us, the divine reality into which each one of us is invited. This is our opportunity. And it is for us, not for some future time, but for here and now. So yes, Jesus, reality, resurrected for you and I, and that means great things for each one of us. Thanks be to God.